We will be traveling from the chilly city of Winnipeg, Manitoba, and teleporting to Scotland in the medieval times that takes place in the 1600s and talk about the famous Macbeth.
I my blood stepped in so far that I should wait no more, returning were as tedious as go over.
This quotation is being spoken of when Macbeth saw a disturbing hallucination of the ghost Banquo. In this quote, Macbeth uses a metaphor to compare crossing a river of blood to the horrible deeds he has carried out. Macbeth believes he is unable to return back to his former dignified self. He uses the comparison to a river of blood because it is thicker and more gruesome than water, signifying that his actions have a lot of troubling consequences. This quote is important because it adds to Macbeth's downward spiral of his emotional state. His hallucination identifies that despite Macbeth's inferior actions, he still has remorse and feels guilt about Duncan's tragic death and constantly continues to think about it. This quote gives information pertaining to Macbeth's state of mind as being fragile because he cannot control his impulses, which leads him to break down. Macbeth has long lost his innocence and is dragging his whole self down. At this time, he happens to reveal his identity to others and they are aware of his unnoble actions. This leads the people to be concerned of him and question his sanity. There's daggers in men's smiles. This quote is being stated shortly after the king is found dead. The metaphor compares daggers to someone's evil intentions. By saying that a smile has daggers in them means that the daggers are being hidden by the smile, making it hard for others to see their motives. This quote develops the concept of betrayal, because Donalbain believes that someone from the castle has killed his father. This thought adds on to the idea that Donalbain lacks judge of character, not being able to tell who was the terrible person who did such harm. This develops the character Donalbain as being a coward because instead of fighting for his country and getting justice for his dad, he chooses selfishly to flee to England to ensure his safety. To conclude, this quote portrays the idea that smiles are deceiving. Behind even the friendliest smiles could be one's worst enemy.
Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Though all things foul, beware the brows of grace. This is said when Malcolm is visiting Macbeth in England, trying to convince him to help overthrow Macbeth from the throne. In this passage, Malcolm is referring to the Bible, where Lucifer, a former angel, fell from grace and turned into the devil. This passage helps develop the concept of hell and heaven that is carried throughout the play. Malcolm is implying that Macbeth is a fallen angel, perhaps Lucifer himself. In the beginning of the play, Macbeth is introduced as someone who is held in high honor. Ironically, he has, under suspicion, taken a turn for the worst. The quote adds depth to the theme of ambition, which is stating ambition is a virtue up until it becomes the overriding force in one's life. Macbeth was once someone who would be considered moral, but due to his motivation to fully complete his deep desires, he has lost his innocence. Ambition leads to Macbeth's downfall, much like Lucifer fell from heaven. Malcolm is trying to inform Macbeth that even though Macbeth's actions may look noble, Macbeth is not the right person to be ruling the country. This quote helps develop Malcolm's character to be someone who is aware of Macbeth's wrongdoings. He believes that there is no way of telling someone's intentions from their appearance, meaning that even though Macbeth appears to be ethical, the assumption may be false.
The repetition in a woman's ear would murder as it fell. This quotation is stated shortly after Macduff finds King Duncan dead in the bedroom. Macduff believes Lady Macbeth isn't aware of what's going on and tells her this news isn't meant for women to hear, because it was so vile and horrid to be spoken of. In this quote, Lady Macbeth's ears are being personified to the extreme that her ears would die and fall off her body if she heard the horrible news Macduff speaks. Macduff believes in the stereotype that all women are fragile beings and shouldn't be exposed to such news. Macduff is unaware that Lady Macbeth is the opposite of the feminine character he refers to, and she is actually the driving force behind King Duncan's death. This quote shows in depth the idea of being ironic, because Lady Macbeth has a huge role in the murder. She even helped stage it. This further identifies that she was very sneaky. No one would have suspected it was her because she was thought of as an innocent woman.
Now does he feel his title laying loose about him like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief? Angus says this line when him and the other three lords of Scotland go to join Malcolm and help snatch back the throne from Macbeth. In this passage, there are two different metaphors being used. The first one is comparing the title of a king to a giant's robe. The next metaphor is connecting Macbeth to a dwarf. This is significant because those who used to follow Macbeth because he was king are now starting to doubt him. They realize Macbeth is not an honorable man and does not deserve a title of the king. This quote says that Macbeth is trying to act the role of king is much like a dwarf attempting to wear a giant's robe. Everyone now believes that Macbeth is unable to fulfill the responsibilities of a king. He does not have the characteristics of a leader because he often lets his ambitions get the better of him. Angus calls Macbeth a thief, which is ironic because although Angus might not know, Macbeth did take actions to ensure the crown would lie in his hands.